There are a lot of video games across all sorts of different generations of systems, which gives every gamer their own set of favorite games, ones they grew up playing. What makes this medium the most unique compared to other entertainment mediums is that video games can give each and every player a unique experience tailored to how you play. Yes, I ripped that from Minecraft Story Mode. And what makes this even more special is that every person will have their own standout experiences and attachments to certain games that not everyone else will have. This is absolutely true for me, and I'd like to talk about the games that left a huge impact on me that I wish I could replay for the first time again. But enough yapping, and let's get right to it. I'd like to go over some honorable mentions of sorts real quick before we get into the deep ones. The Marvel Spider-Man series is a series that I absolutely adore, but I don't think it quite makes it onto the list because I have no desire to revisit the earlier game's combat systems. I just wish I could revisit the story for the first time again. Next up is Roblox, because I was born in the mid-2000s. I used to play all the shitty games the site had to offer back in the day, and while Roblox has some unironically good or good-looking games now, I kinda miss the old days with the minimal games like Build to Survive the Zombies, the Wipeout Obby, Hide and Seek, Roblox Top Model, jumping further in time to Pokemon Brick Bronze, and probably more I don't even remember. This next honorable mention is one I just beat a few days ago, being Persona 5 Royal. I greatly enjoyed this game, but seeing as it's still so fresh in my mind, I can't really justify it making the actual list. And lastly, Fortnite, because who doesn't miss the good old days of Chapter 1 Fortnite? With the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the games I wish I could replay for the very first time. Okay, my first game is kinda cheating if I'm gonna be honest. Undertale is a game I didn't initially experience through my own playthrough, but rather through the YouTuber TyranitarTube's Let's Play series. But even though I wasn't the one controlling the game, every bit and piece hit the spot for me, from the quirky characters I quickly grew attached to, the unique battles that invested me even as a viewer, to eventually the plot and lore dumps that absolutely shook me. It's undeniable that I was hooked. The more you dive into Undertale, the more there is to find, and I wish I got to do that for myself. That's why in this hypothetical scenario, I would have played it all for myself. Worst case scenario, it would only hit the same as it did when I watched the playthrough, but best case scenario, it could hit even harder. Moving on to the next two games, God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. I'm going to cover them both at the same time since they have pretty much the same reasons as to why I wish to replay them for the first time. Getting the obvious out of the way, these are narrative masterpieces, and I've gushed about these games and their narratives plenty on this channel already, so I'm not going to dive much deeper into it, but these stories left an impact on me that gave me a deeper appreciation for this medium. But the biggest reason might just be that I played these two games right before one of the biggest periods of changes in my life, so I kind of look back on these very nostalgically. The next game I'd like to talk about is a game I revisited very recently. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I doubt too many of you know about this game, so let me explain. This is a mystery visual novel where 9 strangers are put onto a sinking ship, and the only way to escape is to participate in a twisted game where they have to put their lives on the line. If you like visual novels at all, or especially if you like Danganronpa, this is a must-play experience that you should absolutely give a try going in as blind as possible. The plot revelations are world-shattering, and the characters are not only endearing, but learning about them and their backstories really makes you feel sympathy for all of them. It makes you want to help them get off the ship even more. I absolutely love this game, but even after an almost 2-year gap in between my original playthrough and my replay, I found myself skipping through many of the sections of the game since I knew when the crazy parts were and I didn't really care to read all the dialogue again. In contrast, my very first playthrough, I was so hooked and honestly maybe even obsessed because that was all I did for 3 days straight. Just ask my friend Garchomp, who was there for a good chunk of my first play session. That shit got me immersed. Every plot twist had shook me in a way I don't think any game has ever since. I've yet to play the second or third game in this Zero Escape series though, so who knows, maybe those two could scratch that itch for me. Minecraft is such a unique case for discussion here since not only has everyone on this planet played the game, but we've all had different experiences doing so. When I say I wish I could play Minecraft for the first time again, it's more so that I wish I could relive the memories I made with my friends for all those years at the exact same age I was when I played it back then. The other games I haven't really discussed me being the same age I am now or was back then, because it just didn't really matter like it does for this game. This is a very specific case where I most definitely would want to relive those days the exact same way at the exact same age. I pretty much grew up with Minecraft, and I've played all sorts of different versions across all different types of systems. But to narrow our focus of discussion, I'd like to discuss the Minecraft Wii U era, the most impactful and longest of the bunch. My time on Minecraft Wii U is really something special to me. I met and became friends with so many people, many of which I'm still in many Discord servers with to this day. Back in the day, we used to host these little Minecraft competitions with different challenges to see who would win. Basically, if you've ever seen Survivor, Big Brother, or Total Drama, Amazing Race, or any of those other shows, that's what we did. Our little community had an absolute blast, competing in them probably almost every day. But of course, we grew up and stopped doing them pretty much entirely. Nowadays, one will pop up maybe every once in a while, but it's probably been almost a year now since our core friend group had actually done an event. Not to say I haven't stopped talking to all of them, there are quite a few that I do still talk to, and there's some I wish I did talk to still, but we just kind of grew apart. This is a topic I could talk about forever, and honestly, the more I think about it, I would like to make a video one day talking about my experiences growing up with Minecraft. But for now, just know I do miss those days playing those silly little Minecraft competitions with my friends. The final game I'd like to discuss in this video is none other than my favorite game of all time, the one that made me think about this whole concept in the first place when I first played it, Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is another instance where I think I would prefer to relive it in the exact time that I first played it, which was the 2020 quarantine. Everything about this game was just so damn magical to me at the time. Obviously, the characters and story was just so impeccable, and I can credit this game for being what kickstarted me into venturing deeper into more narrative-driven games. But it's more than just the narrative I found compelling. The gameplay was a simple but addicting loop for me to dive into tactical gameplay. Wandering around Garreg further immersed me into the world and characters, and the beautiful ass soundtrack just hit. This game's soundtrack is so incredible, and I would listen to the tunes even outside of the game. It basically became, for me, the 2020 soundtrack. Despite everything going on in the world at that time, this game just felt like home. I can admit, the game is flawed in many ways, especially visually, but what I find most important to me is finding those games that hit the spot and make me damn appreciate the period of my life that I was fortunate enough to experience a piece of media. It sounds ridiculous, but hey, that's just me. Thank you guys all for watching. I just wanted to give a little quick update because I will be moving into my college dorm soon, which will definitely have a bit of an impact on the videos. I don't know if I can be as loud in them as I was in this, for example. I might have to speak a little bit quieter. Hopefully not. Hopefully I can find time. I'm sure I can. It's just a matter of scheduling and all that. But I'm going to still try to keep things semi-consistent, as if things have ever been consistent here. But hey, fake it till you make it, am I right? That's all I got for you guys now, though. Stay alive. I don't know.